11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. What a fight! I think the runner won it.
Juan, the Hispanic causing panic, Lascano.
Thanks to those joining me live and to those that'll be joining me on archive. DStyleBoxing here. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe. And also make sure you hit that bell button. Hit the all. That way you're notified every single time DStyleBoxing comes on live. A lot of fights last night. A lot of good fights. A lot of weird circumstances. A lot of unexpected circumstances. And a whole lot of nothing in one of the fights. I will say that. DJ Mexicano de Texas, Puro Remy Crush on here. What's going on? Puerto Rican rum. The Don. Jesus M. How's it going? How's it going, guys? How's it going? Shout out to Major Key. Shout out to everybody. Just coming on really quick here. I don't want to say really quick. I don't want to keep saying that. I'm not just here for 4 or 5 minutes. But anyway, I just wanted to come on here and give my thoughts on some of this. JC, no Paul, what's up? What's up, guys? What's up? Oh, by the way, no Paul, I saw your call and I forgot to call you back, but I was actually live with Calix when you called me. But I'll catch up with you, brother. The Dawn, thanks so much for that super chat. Says Vergil is ready for Bud. That's Bud Crawford. JC says he votes for Rigo for Hispanic causing panic of the week. Let's start off with Rigondeaux here. Look, I want you to keep this in mind. I'm a believer that Rigondeaux's gotten a bad rap over the last few years, ever since he defeated Nonito Donaire. I felt like Bob Arum took that win personally. He had plans for Donaire, and for whatever reason, Bob just felt like that was a big roadblock in the way of those plans for Donaire. I thought that was a hell of a performance by Rigondeaux. That's one of my favorite performances ever. And that this was when Donaire was like coming out being the fighter of the year, getting knockouts of the year, was just destroying cats. And then like he runs into Rigondeaux. Rigondeaux's a big underdog, right? We need to like think about that. Like that was big. Now I didn't give him full passes, but I had like some understanding of some of his shit, right? Like the Becco fight. I remember watching that. Of course, that shit was watching. It was like, and look, man, we just got to be honest as boxing fans, man. Like, just be honest. It was a boring fight. There's some boxing fans out there that think they're holier than thou and they're above calling something boring or some dumb shit like that. I don't like the Becco fight. I felt he could have thrown more, but I also understand that he was standing in front of Becco for large periods of time, and Becco didn't want to throw, right? 2 years ago, he has a fight with Ceja. That's a fight of the year candidate. That's a fight of the year candidate type fight. That's what that is. And then he kind of goes back to what he's doing. He did it a little bit in the last fight, but I still saw Rigo throw his straight left more, pivot more, make the guy miss and pay more. But let me explain to you guys what we saw last night. Let me explain to you the trash, because that's what it was, that we saw last night. First, in CompuBox history, now you all know that I don't regard CompuBox as the most accurate thing in the world, but it is a rough estimate most of the time. But this is still very telling. The least combined punches landed in the history of any 12 round prize fight that CompuBox calculated. I repeat, the least combined punches landed in the history of CompuBox in any 12 round fight. One more time. This was the least amount of punches landed combined in the history of any 12 round fight in the history of CompuBox. This was an extreme. This was a bit too much. That's what this was. And I said it before, I will say it again. Avoiding engagement is not defense. It's not. Here goes the modern day Willie Peps is the Don. We need to ask ourselves, why should we watch this? This was an extreme, guys. This was more than he's ever. And here's the other thing: boxing fans like to play these stupid semantics. You know what we mean when we say running. You know exactly what we mean. Oh, you would turn around and run like knees high and start running. That's not running. That's moving. Like, okay, whatever. I just feel that boxing, and it wouldn't even be used that often, but in extreme cases like this, needs an engagement rule. It needs a rule that forces a ref to tell these guys, you got to fight. This is ridiculous. We have people out here on social media saying Rigondeaux beat Casimero's ass. He beat his ass. What are you talking about? What do you mean he beat his ass? Well, what do you mean he put on a clinic? That's a clinic to you? Rigondeaux, like I'm telling you right now, that he like this idea that that's a sweet sign. Oh, it's not hitting. It's hit and don't get hit. Rigondeaux, it's not his fault that Casimiro can't cut off the ring. That's the other one. So it's on Casimiro. So now it becomes a fucking cat and mouse game all now. So that's what it's turned into now. The guy that gets in the back foot is now the mouse, and if you don't catch him, you lose a round. That's what it is. I thought we were watching a sport of boxing. I thought we were watching a fist fight. But apparently, it's your job to do something that's really not a thing. Like if a dude is not wanting to engage, not wanting to fight, I want to make sure people understand what I mean by that. Speaking of extremes, we have individuals that come out here and they'll say things like, oh, but come on, DStyle, you just want them to nail their feet to the canvas and do rock 'em, sock 'em. No, that's not what I want at all. I want guys to move. I want them to use lateral movement. I want them to slip punches, make guys miss, and then make them pay. I want that I don't mind guys circling the ring. I don't mind them even going to the ropes at times, but this was extreme. This was ridiculous. Rigo was like literally, he started off the round, landed a couple jabs, maybe a straight, and then he spent the rest of the round literally avoiding fighting at all costs. That's what he did. Pop, pop. All right, I'm good for the rest of the round. What's going on over here? Jesus Christ. Could somebody explain to me why on earth, why is it that's okay to you? Could somebody explain that to me? Please? Could somebody explain to me why Guillermo Rigondeaux avoiding engagement at all costs? So what do I mean by engagement? I'm talking about getting in the pocket, putting yourself in position to land, landing on your opponent offensively as well, countering your opponent, because you're at range. That's all I'm saying. I'm not even saying you have to be there 100% of the time, but you can't avoid it completely. That is ridiculous. Ladies and gentlemen, that is ridiculous. I don't know how else to put it to you. That is easily one of the most ridiculous things. Now, hold on. Let me get my water here. Hold on. Give me a second, guys. Give me one moment. My bad. Should have been ready with all this, but hold on. The Dawn in the building says, what did he say? DStyle, you don't understand that we're fighting under the new karate rules. You're not allowed to hurt your opponent. Maybe. Let me put it this way, man. Let me put it this way. Let's say you're walking with your girl. You're holding hands. You're in the Walmart parking lot. You're walking back to your car. Right? Just try to picture this for a moment. A dude blatantly and purposely slaps her ass. Oh, that's a nice ass. Boom! Slaps her ass right in front of you. Right in front of you. You put her aside. You're like, you know what? That's some bullshit right there. Roll up your sleeves. You roll up your sleeves and shit. I'm going to kick your ass, motherfucker. Right? You're in the middle of the parking lot. Right? You're ready to duke it out. There's people watching. And you start doing what Rigondeaux was doing. You start circling around, and every time he comes at you, you get away. You know what I mean? You're just avoiding the fight at all costs. Just circling around the parking lot, just running around the parking lot. The dude's going after you, like, come on then. And you're just moving around. You're making a miss, but you're just moving around. You know what I mean? Just moving around. You know what I mean? Is that defending your girl's honor? Is that what you call defending her honor? Right there? Would you say, oh, no, like, baby, I was defending your honor. Like you know what I mean? I put a clinic on his ass. I whooped his ass. Is that what you're going to say? No, I just want you guys to think about this and how reverse we are in this thinking process, and where we've been taken by a bunch of fucking boxing elitists, okay, that want to talk about how, like, oh, well, I don't want no rock 'em, sock 'em. You know what I mean? Like, well, I don't want no fucking just running around doing nothing for fucking 2.5 minutes. It's not what I want to see. And you know what they say? Oh, but this is boxing, though. It's different. It's different. That scenario is different. At the end of the day, it's a fist fight. It's what it is, guys. It's a fist fight. Fight. What do you mean? I'm not saying don't utilize defense. Slip those punches. Parry those punches. Block those punches. Roll with the punches. Use your feet to make a guy miss and come back in and make him miss. I'm not saying I'm against any of that. That's what he did against Donaire. That's why I love that performance. Like, just answer my question. If a dude slapped your chick's ass in front of you, and all you did was fight the way Rigondeaux fought, did you defend her honor? Yes or no? The answer's no. Punch Drunk Boxing, everybody says Rigo should be banned from televised boxing, probably. And I don't want people to feel sorry for Rigondeaux. Remember that Rigondeaux took step-aside money to not take this fight. Rigondeaux was running from the fight before the fight. And yes, he took the fight again, but come on. That was extreme, guys. That was an extreme. Floyd Mayweather didn't fight that way. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Mayweather never fought this way. Ever. He might have fought like this in the round. He fought like that in the 12th round against Robert Guerrero. I think he did. I don't remember if he did the same to Canelo in the 12th round. But that's it. That's a giveaway round because you basically already outclassed him the whole fight. So you give away the round to not taking it, lower the risk of getting knocked out. I'm still don't like that, but it's a lot better than doing it the whole fight. He factored out and says, your girl will leave you for the other guy if you do that shit. Boxing is spoken with style, says High and Lows. Sports Satorium, I appreciate the support, brother. Much appreciated. Look, I got to tell you right now, man, that was pathetic. I'm sorry. And then people are blaming Casimero. What do you want Casimero to do? The dude doesn't want to fight. In order to have a fight, you need both guys to try to fight. I don't know if you guys understand this, but two guys need to want to fight in order for there to be a fight. Otherwise, it's either just abuse or one person chasing the other person. You need two to tangle in boxing. And I get that you can have a situation where one guy will be on the front foot, one guy will be on the back foot, but the back foot, okay, not running around the ring. I'm just saying. What do you mean it's going to run around the ring? What do you mean it's just going to avoid engagement at all costs? That's not defense. That's not what that is. That's not defense, guys. Go watch Pernell Whitaker. That's defense. Yes, he's moving back while he's making De La Hoya miss at range. He's like, those punches were at range when he's making a miss. And even then, people felt it was a little too, quote unquote, negative. But it's nowhere near what Rigondeaux did. At least Pernell Whitaker was he's on the fucking box rec as one of the few fighters to land over 400 punches. Okay? That's how you fucking know people are full of shit when it compares to Whitaker. All right? James Toney is on box rec. And we know James Toney had a hell of a defense. Great defensive shell. But guess what? He's on the box rec. Okay, for one of the few fighters that land over 400 punches. Floyd Mayweather was on his front foot for more than half of that Canelo fight. Or at least half. It's not the same thing. You know the sad part? When Rigondeaux did stand in the pocket, he landed on the dude. Now, it could be the loss of reflexes or whatever, that he kind of played it too safe. But my God, was that just too safe? It's like safe to the point of like not engaging. Okay? You have to be there. You have to engage. How are you going to be a swimmer? How are you going to win the swimming without getting wet? You got to get wet. Have you guys seen that meme where that one dude's going like this? Have seen that meme? I know you guys know which one I'm talking about. Okay. And it always says all this crazy shit. It'll say something like, I don't know, like, I can't think of anything on top of my head, but you can't get hit if you don't engage. You know, like, well, no, you're not going to get hit if you don't engage. And I'm seeing people like I'm seeing people like blame Casemiro as well. What do you want Casemiro to do? Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Okay? The actions of Rigondeaux turned this fight into what it was. Casemiro doesn't have a history of being on stinkers like this. Rigondeaux does. So why are we blaming Casemiro? Like, well, Casemiro wasn't being effective in his aggression. You know what? Why is aggression need to be effective, but defense? Nobody talks about how defense has to be effective, or you know what I mean? Like nobody talks about like the defense has to be while you're engaging in an engagement process. You know what I mean? This is crazy to me. I agree with this statement. De La Hoya Trinidad was toe to toe compared to what we saw last night. It was. Even De La Hoya would stop for a second, shoot a jab or something, to throw a 1-2 or something. At the very least. It was ridiculous levels, guys. I need to repeat to you guys, this is the lowest compared connect in the history of CompuBox. And it's a bantamweight fight. There's heavyweight fights that were 12 rounds that had more punches landed. What's going on over here? Like that's crazy. And we have people on Twitter and social media walking around. They're doing this. They're dancing around. They're acting like the Emperor wasn't dancing without his clothes on around the ring. Oh, well, what do you mean? I think he has clothes on. No, bro. The Emperor's got no clothes on. This was extreme. And then we start talking about this. Was that he didn't cut off the ring. Dude, Rigondeaux didn't want to fight. He'll pick a spot, land a jab or right or left hand, and then he thought, okay, I scored my 2 points. I ain't gonna do shit for the rest of the round. That was his game plan. Look at talking about cutting off the ring. Okay, like look. Let me tell you something. Cutting off the ring is used for normal circumstances. That's for when the guy is on the back foot, but he is engaging. He's involved in engagement. Julio Cesar Chavez cut off the ring on Maldrick Tater, but Maldrick Tater was engaging. Like this was not like a normal circumstance. Rigondeaux was missing punches too. That's what amazes me. Rigondeaux was missing punches. According to the stats, I think Casemiro landed them. Cut off the ring. Okay, of course, you want guys to cut off the ring in a normal fight circumstance. This was not normal. It just wasn't. You guys saw him like he would speed up like he was crazy. He'll be moving, and Casemiro will catch up to him, and then the dude will move faster. It was crazy, bro. I never seen anything like this. I never seen in my life something this bad, and the stats show it. The stats show. You guys do know that. Let me look it up right now. Let's look it up. Bantamweight. Let's just look. Let's look it up. So this is from 2018. Yeah, I can't find it here. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I don't know why I can't find. Every time I need stats live on the air, I can't find them. Is what it is. Heavyweight boxing per round. Look at this. In a boxing match, slower measured fights between heavyweights tend to come in at 30 punches a round. That is insane. These guys are throwing less than a heavyweight fight. There's no doubt that this is definitely the fault of Rigondeaux. Let you guys know right now. I'll do a more comprehensive video later, but just to show you guys how ridiculous this was. This was ridiculous. So that aside, the Rigondeaux performance aside, I think boxing needs an engagement rule. I don't know exactly how. It's not something I've sat down and really thought about, and I think a lot of great minds need to get together and think about it. But yeah, that's right. I'd rather watch Stephen A. Smith. But they need an engagement rule, like just like a ref can get on a guy for excessive holding, we should get on a guy for excessively avoiding the fight. You know what I mean? Like, bro, you're literally never in the pocket for like 2 straight minutes. That's it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you need to start getting in the pocket more, or we're gonna take away a point, or maybe, you know what I mean? Because this is just too much. People don't want to watch this, man. This hurts boxing. And for all you out there saying, "Oh no, this is great. I love this." Okay, cool. So you're telling me right now you would show this to a friend and make them to have them like boxing. You would have them watch this fight? Yeah, that's what I thought. The type of fight, man, that if it's on, people are up getting nachos. Like they're fucking talking about tomorrow. Hey, what are we gonna do tomorrow? You know, hey, next weekend. Da, 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 da. What'd you do yesterday? You know, that's they're not talking about the fight no more. They're not talking about the fight no more, bro. But anyway, Vergil Ortiz, man. Let me tell you something. He did better than I thought he would, and I thought he would do spectacularly. I felt Mean Machine would have won the first 3 or 4 rounds, and then Vergil would take over and then take him out in the late rounds. But my God, I was keeping in mind, you know, Robert Garcia wasn't there with him. Keep that in mind, guys. He went out there and he put on a clinic. I mean, that was a spectacular performance. That jab was on point. The power jab to the body, right in the solar plexus. The jab upstairs, targeting the forehead, the nose, and the chin. Towards the end, the forehead more so, bouncing that head back. It puts strain on the back of your neck. That does help the TQ. And then, of course, I mean, just the power behind it. And also throwing the jab while he's on his back foot at times as well. The combinations that it was throwing with the textbook, crisp, straight combinations were definitely the difference in this fight. And Mean Machine had no answers. Vergil Ortiz got hit, and we got people out here acting like that's some big surprise. Like, I don't know. I mean, he got hit, though. There was that one round where Mean Machine landed a big right hand. I don't know why. I'm kind of worried about Vergil. Like, well, look, I mean, Vergil Ortiz is going to get hit because it's boxing, and because, like, I'm not looking for, you know, a lot of you guys have flawless victory syndrome. You want guys to fight like the Matrix and never get hit and flawless victory. And then you know, I get it, but it's boxing and guys are going to get hit. Okay. So to me, Vergil's ready. He's ready for the big time. He's ready for the big names. He stopped. Mean Machine on the 8th after dropping him 4 times. By the way, the body work was beautiful. I mean, the body work was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. And what about answering the phone with that right hand, keeping it there at all times, taking away that hook from Mean Machine and making him find other things to do? And again, it comes down to him needing the hook to work. He doesn't really throw down the pipe with that punch. So I think Vergil Ortiz did a really, really good job. Incredible performance, as KRLB said. I don't know what else to say. I mean, I think he's ready for anybody. Anybody. He's ready. You know what I mean? This was probably his best performance. He looked more impressive in this fight than the Hooker fight. So and people said this was a step up. I think he passed with flying colors. All right. Also, shout out to Sotelo Media, by the way, in the chat. Shout out to you, brother. He goes to the Robert Garcia gym a lot, covers stuff over there. But Franco won as I expected. I did pick Franco to win by decision. If you guys would have listened to me, you would have made some moolah and some money. Some narrow. Okay, you would have made some money. You know what I mean? But if you would have listened to me. But I felt Franco had his number. I felt people put too much stock in the early rounds of that second fight. Shit happens. But I felt, that Franco was a better fighter. And I think he proved it once and for all in the trilogy. Shout out to, it's not over for Maloney. He could still fight other guys. There's other opportunities will open for him. But as of right now, Franco got the best of him. So that's that. It's going to be interesting come Tuesday when we vote for the Hispanic causing panic of the week. The poll will be up on Tuesday, so make sure you don't miss that show. Vergil obviously is a contender. Franco's a contender. There's some other ones out there as well. No, we're not going to put Rigondeaux unless somebody nominates him on the show, but I doubt it. But with that said, shout out to everybody. I appreciate the support, guys. I appreciate you being here, you listening. And that is that. But hold on, let me read this really quick. Mr. Doc says, why is a given boxer obligated to employ a strategy that improves his opponent's chance of winning just because of entertainment? Do we want sport or entertainment? We do want a sport, right? But the reason sports have spectators is because the spectators are there to be entertained. Otherwise, it wouldn't have any spectators, right? And there's a reason why Monopoly doesn't have spectators, and it's just amongst you and whoever you play with, right? But if it has spectators, people are paying for entertainment, right? So it's take or give, however you want to take it. But this, I will say this, right? This I will say, all right? I'm not asking Rigondeaux to quote unquote do what Casimero wants him to do to give Casimero a greater chance of victory. That's not what I'm asking him to do at all. I simply want all boxers to be involved in engagement and not avoid the fight altogether. That's what I want. And I don't like that's just what I want. You know what I mean? It's like this. Like we have a shot clock in basketball. The shot clock wasn't designed to quote unquote give one team more chances to win over another. It was just designed to have engagement in basketball, like, you know what I mean, to attack the basket, and to keep the game going, right? Goaltending is against the rules for a reason, right? If we have the offsides rule in soccer, because then otherwise the defense or players would always be goaltending at the goalpost, right? So and we don't want that. Like we have certain rules that are supposed to make it a little difficult for the participants in order to make the sport more entertaining to watch. It's as simple as that. So I'm not asking Rigondeaux to stand there just trade with Casimero, but I am asking him to look. If you're going to be doing that, at least don't be getting hit more. You were missing too. He was missing as well. So that's just how I feel about it. So at the end of the day, like Mayweather never put himself in position to help his opponent win, but he still won, right? and he wasn't doing what Rigondeaux did. So I feel boxing is an engagement rule. No boxing fan should be against an engagement rule. What, are you scared that your fighter can't hang if they're forced to fight, or what? Is that what it is? Suppose that. So that's all. That's all. Anyway, guys, this is DStyleBoxing. Keep it boxing. I'm out. Peace.